So welcome back, dear students. So in the earlier class, we have discussed the different type of main characteristics of database approach. Now let's see who are the DBMS users. Okay, so who are the DBMS users? So users may be divided into two types: those who actually use and control the DBMS content, and those who design, develop, administrate are called as a actors on the screen. These are the so you can say the users as in a drama like a people. Some people are helping behind the drama set. Some people are acting in front of drama set. Similarly, so these are called as a front runners or the actors on screen. Those who are actually use control the content of database are called as a DBMS designer. Those who design and develop DBMS software related tools and computer system are called as a workers behind screen. Here in the DBMS, workers behind the scene are the database creator, database structure designers, and the main administrators fall into DBMS workers behind the scene. So, database users, actors on screen, database administrator. What is the role of database administrator? He is totally responsible for authorizing access the database, for coordinating and monitoring its use, acquiring the software and hardware resources, and also controlling its use and monitoring the efficiency of operations. Next comes the database designer. The responsible of database designer is define the content, its structure and constraints and functions or transaction against the database. They must communicate with the end users and understand their needs. Now, the categories of end users. Again, the end users are three type of end users. One is casual, naive, sophisticated, standalone end users. So, these end users they use the data for queries, reports, and some of them update the database contents. Okay, so we'll see these end users. So casual users occasionally access the database, but they may need the different information each time. They use the sophisticated database query languages to specify their request, and they are typically middle or high level languages and other occasional browsers. So Neva users, Neva or they are also called as a parametric users, make up a sizable portion of a database end users. Their main job of function revolves around constantly querying and updating the database using standard types of queries. Those are called as a canned transaction. Okay, what is a canned transaction? These are the transactions which are of same type. For example, take example of cashier. What he can do the cashier, he can only take the amount, okay, and he can only um, withdraw the amount. So debit and credit he can do. Only two types of operations are allowed to him. That is called as a canned transactions. Um, Similarly, the railway ticket booker, he can book the ticket, he can cancel the ticket. So only same kind of transactions if he can do, that is called as a CAN transaction. CAN transaction that have been carefully programmed and tested by these NEVI and for the NEVI or the end users. The task may be, as I said, that the reservation clerk and other things that include the CAN transaction. Okay, so clerks for next example for the CAN transactions, clerks retrieving the station for shipping companies enter the package identification with the barcodes and disruptive information through buttons to update the central databases. So these are the other type of canned transactions. Okay. Next one, sophisticated end users. This include engineers, scientists, analysts, business analysts especially, and other who thoroughly familiarize with the facilities of the database in order to implement their application to meet their complex queries. Okay, these are engineers, scientists, and other thing. Standalone users maintain personal database by using ready-made program packages that provide easy to use menu-based or GUI-based uh, programs. So these are normally standalone programmers. Okay. Now we'll see what are the advantages of using DBMS approach. Okay, first there are a lot of advantages of DBMS are there. First one is controlling the redundancy. So redundancy, what is meant by redundancy? Redundancy means repeated data in a thing. Controlling redundancy in data storage and development and maintenance. This is the unique factor of the database where the traditional software development is used by the file processing where every user group maintains its own file for handling the database processes. Okay. So this in the file system the redundancy occurs. So this redundancy in storing the same multiple files multiple times leads to several problems. First, there is a need to perform the single logical update such as entering a data on a new student multiple times. Okay, so if you want to enter the one student in a file processing, you need to open each file and you need to write every file. Second one, storage space is wasted when the same data is stored repeatedly, and this normally a serious problem for large databases. Third one is files are represent the same data and they become inconsistent. So this may cause a problem for DBMS. But our normal RDBMS or any kind of DBMS can overcome all this um, redundancy problems. So now we'll see next one, restricting unauthorized access to data. So what is unauthorized access? The person who is not having the authorizationship who try to access the database is called as a unauthorized access. The multiple users share the large database and it is likely most users will not be authorized to access the all information of a database. For example, we will take as financial data. It is often considered to be confidential and unauthorized persons are allowed to access the such data. In addition to some users may be also permitted to retrieve data, whereas others are allowed to retrieve data and update the data. Okay, in this case, restricting unauthorized access plays a very important role. The DBMS should provide the security and authorization subsystem which the DBA uses to create the accounts to specify the account restriction. Then the DBMS should enforce the restriction automatically. Okay, these facilities are provided in database. Suppose a bank manager, a clerk can only allowed to access the withdrawal or deposit. He should not be allowed to delete the account. Only deletion and creation of account should be done by the manager and loan sanction authority should be done by the manager. These are the restricting unauthorized access. Next one is providing persistence providing persistent storage program objects. Okay, providing persistence storage structure for efficient program objects. Okay, so the DBMS can be provided with a persistent storage for program objects and data structure. This is one of the main reasons of object-oriented database systems. Programming language typically have the complex data structures such as uh, records, types of Pascal, or class definition in C++ or Java. The values of programs variables are discarded once the program terminates. Okay, unless the program explicitly stores the permanent files, which often involves the converting these complex structure into formats for suitable for storage. When the need arises to read the data once more, the programmer must convert the file format into program variable structure. This is a difficulty in here. Okay, so hence the complex object in the C++ can be stored permanently in the object-oriented DBMS. Such object is called as a persistent. Since it survives the termination of program execution, can later be directly retrieved by the another C++ program. The persistent storage program objects and data structures is an important function of a database. The traditional database system often suffered from the so-called impedance mismatch problem. Since the data structure provided by the DBMS were incompatible with the program languages and data structures, the object-oriented database systems typically are of data structure compatibility with one or more object-oriented program. So this is a restricting providing persistent storage for the program object. So next, providing storage structure and providing backup recovery services and other related advantages we will see in the next class. Thank you for calmly watching the video.